Hello, this is LotusWolfPod in the house tonight, and this is my newest LotusWolfPodcast. I've been away for a long time, and you know what? I'm back again. But before we go any further, I just wanted to say one thing. Like, if you haven't checked that out, then, you know, which is basically my homie's movie. Yeah, my homie's making a movie, and it's called Macabre. Macabre. And that's the name of the movie. And he's still on Kickstarter trying to get the funds for that and everything, so you should check that out. But that's not what this video is about. I just wanted to start out about that. This video right here is actually about, like, in the last a long ass time, like in the last, I don't know, however many years. I'm going to talk about the physical releases of CDs that I have, right? That I've gotten in the last little while. And why? And why? All right, just straight up get to it. Not wasting any of your damn time. So, first we got the Monoxide Chainsmoker 2, right? Who would have thought he'd come out with an album like a sequel to that, right? And you know what? I just happened to get the one that I don't know, like has the signature and everything in it and everything, like Monoxide Child. All he really likes to do is smoke weed and stuff, but I used to do it as a kid, but I don't do that anymore. But this version itself, there was only so many made, and it has an extra 5 tracks on there. Like, why you would want to get the version without the 5 tracks is beyond me, because the extra 5 tracks, the bonus tracks, which are actually like the ones that basically make the album, right? Which is basically like Monoxide with people from like Magic Ninja, right? Although, since, Psychopathic and, Magic Ninja, I'm fine. I'll come on here and I'll be the one. Violent J behind there and talking about this. I don't care. I'm talking about talent. I'm talking about the newest releases nowadays, right? And that just happens to be the first one, right? The Chainsmoker 2. Like, I actually have the real physical release. Now, there's a lot of people who are releasing music. All right, I get that. And a lot people don't get physical copies of things anymore. Like, there's iTunes and whatever the hell, you know. And I get stuff from, other places and stuff, but I'm talking about the actual physical copies. Like, that's what we're talking about in this Lotus Wolf Pod episode. We are talking about the physical copies of musical artists here that are out, like, in what, like 2024. Who would have thought? 24 years into the new millennium, hey? Like, honestly, like, in no, well, I guess there was a real order. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is, like, not talked about, like, Tovilo and stuff, like, just let's not release anything physically, right? All right. Then we have basically this is Alison Goldfrapp's album, her debut album. Now, if anybody knows anything, now I'm going to skip genres a little bit here, so that might be an issue. It may be not. Whatever. So, anybody who knows, like, Goldfrapp or whatever, this is a whole new, like, without Will Gregory in there and everything. Like, this is Alison Goldfrapp's first solo debut album. And, you know, basically, there's not a bad song on there. And basically, like, I'm trying to, like, am I talking about notable songs? Like every single song, right? Like Never Stop or whatever. Or maybe I should just show you like the really nice cover art and stuff, and you can go and search it yourself. Goldfrapp. You like dance electronic music done really well? Well, there you go. I just gave you something. And like recently I just went and I'm like, are we talking about a new Linkin Park album? Like, isn't like my man Chester from Linkin Park, like isn't he like dead? God rest his soul and everything. And then they're coming out with, and then I found out Papercuts is like a basically like a greatest hits of the Linkin Park legacy, like that. I mean, there's no way you could possibly get like every song in there that is like a greatest hit. There's gonna be a couple like Lost in the Echo that some people are gonna be like, well, you missed this song or that song. But you know what? Did you realize there was that many great Linkin Park songs? Like, I mean, if you knew one or two, right? And it's just like the other thing about Paper Cuts, the Linkin Park, the new greatest hits, every Linkin Park album that comes out is like a piece of artwork because like for all art and everything for every one of their new albums since ever, since like the 90s and stuff, they've always gone and done like a whole art gallery just for that album and took a bunch of pictures about just that album. So that's I mean, I would hate to say greatest hits, but it's pretty damn close. It's pretty close. And there's like I don't know, maybe a few songs that you hadn't heard of too. So I mean, that's enough. The artwork and the new songs, that's enough to make me interested, you know. So these are just things that I bought, right? And of course, like you get to something like this, right? I get that glare in there. If you know anything about my old podcast, then you know about that. And if you don't, then you don't. So we're talking about Eminem's new album, and we're not talking about the death of Slim Shady. We're talking about the Curtain Call 2, right? The greatest hits, right? Part 2. So basically every 10 years Eminem is going to be making a greatest hits album, right? In his career. So this just happens to be it, and it's just like, like if you know anything about like him going to Paul, he's like, Paul is like, I got a new album for y'all. And Paul's like, what? Really, really, really? And he's like, yeah, but you know what? It's actually two albums. And Paul just starts swearing and stuff. He's just like, you know, that is not one. That is actually two discs, right? Because it doesn't take one disc to tell this story specifically, you know. The only thing I have to say about Curtain Call 2, and that's not even, like the death of Slim Shady yet, is he made a song actually called Curtain Call 2, and it actually was not on Curtain Call 2, which I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. But you get all of these songs plus a couple of, I like it when there's bonus songs. I like hearing the songs that I've heard before, plus maybe, some bonus tracks on the side, like maybe some things that have never been released before, like and finally now it has found its place on whatever we're talking about. You know, girls. We're talking about Lana Del Rey here, like she doesn't come out with a bad album. And we've been told in like what social media and stuff that she's supposed to be coming out with a really great country western album. Like that's the news, right? You're gonna make me say this whole name. Did you know that there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard, right? Well, if you check out, like there's not one bad song on there. Every one of those songs is good. As is every one of Lana Del Rey's albums. But if you check the last one out, Taco Truck X VB, well, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So, talk of course, you get to Twiztid, hey? Right? A lot of people really did not like this album. And what is that? Unlikely Prescription? Why? Cuz Twiztid's a rap group? Twiztid's not with ICP anymore? Unfortunately, even people who like Twiztid said that this album was like bullshit, basically. Because it's like it's a metal album, right? Like there's not much rap on it, right? And you know what? I have to say I love the hell out of it. Like they got Cradle of Filth on there and a whole bunch of things. And it's just like I think there's maybe one song that has rapping on it, and that's Cradle of Filth rapping with Twiztid. The rest of it is all just basically rock. It's a rock album. This is Twiztid's rock album with their new guitarist and their new drummist called Dravon. Now that guy's worked with like Static X and stuff, like in the industry. Having actually been to a concert and actually been like 5 feet away from Dravon, seeing his skills and what it could bring to Twiztid's table is, you know what? So even the ICP people or the Juggalos or whatever, we're talking about Twiztid people didn't like this. Why? Because it's a rock album. And you know what? I thought it was a really good rock album. Really great. Like so many songs. Like and not much rapping on there. Mostly it's rock, heavy metal, whatever. So when it comes to ICP themselves, since I like both of them, and like since Psychopathic and Magic Ninja parted their ways and stuff, that's a whole other thing to talk about. I ain't no hater. I don't hate nothing. Don't be hating on anything. And I would pick this one, like to be like to talk about ICP, which is basically the Fearless Fred Fury, which is yeah, that's a Joker's card. But why I wouldn't pick Yum Bedlam? Like why I would pick this first? Just because like I thought about this for a very long time, and for some reason like these songs just resonated really well, like more so than even the Bedlam songs. Like I like once it gets to like I like it rough and WTF and Fury, like those are crazy songs, right? And that's exactly what Insane Clown Posse does, is crazy songs, right? But they always have like a song or two on there that is really nice, or like a really nice song on there somewhere, right? If you can find that. But on this one, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different than that. Like it's not necessarily there's not one nice song on there, but there is a positive message to be gotten from that. That's why I picked Fearless Fred Fury of the second Joker's card deck instead of Yum Bedlam, which is the newest one. Which, like I mean, not saying I don't have it, right? I'm just saying, like, for some reason, the Fearless Fred Fury resonated in my soul a little bit more listening to the songs. I think they gave it a little bit more. But we are getting to the last Joker's card now of the second deck. Mikey Clark's coming in. Hopefully, we got Pearl Jam, the Smashing Pumpkins, since William Patrick Corgan is friends with Insane Clown Posse now. Hopefully, Ouija Mac will be on there. Maybe Mercules, you never know. Uh, as of me recording this right now, like we're celebrating because it is actually almost the day of the gathering of this year, since they have one every year, right? And that's better than Woodstock. That's better than Woodstock. And you know what? I don't give a fuck what anybody cares about what I have to say. Like even when someone tries to like deter your shit or whatever, just sending your shit your way and fucking deterring that. I don't care what anybody says or thinks about me because I like a lot of different kinds of music. And you know what? I thought Kid Rock's new album, Bad Reputation, was like there's not that is 17 songs straight. I thought he said he retired. And you know what? There's not one bad song. You play the first two tracks and it's just like you know what I'm talking about, right? Other releases of this, like new releases, right? I'm trying to talk mostly about new releases, like newer releases. We got Green Day, right? Saviors. Green Day, I've they're the ones that made me want to write rock music, which became into like rap, rock, metal, electronic kind of music. But they came out with the new album, and there's not one bad song on there, right? Saviors. You got the Saviors. And of course, these guys have a special place in my soul because this just happens to be the first album that I actually bought from them. And we're talking about the band Sum 41, right? Heaven and Hell, right? Heaven and Hell. You're either gonna, like, if you were put in this situation, like of their cover art and stuff, like either what are they insinuating you're gonna jump into heaven or you're gonna jump into the hell, right? They got two big mirror cases for you right there, right? And that album just there's not really a bad song in there, you know. I mean, they like to say the word fuck a lot and stuff, but you know what? Derek, Derek, and Cone and Brown Sound and stuff, like from when they started being Sum 41, like as little punk ass kids, like where they've gotten from now, like, you know, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And of course you got Billie Eilish's new album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, and there's not really one bad song in there. And the one that's the most popular, the one you hear like on anywhere is basically Lunch, right? But you know what? There's 9 other really good songs on there too. If you don't like the poppy kind of feel or whatever, then you got that. And either way, like half of those songs, like they change halfway through and they're really long. So it's like only 10 songs? Bullshit. There's those songs, what they do, that is a full-length album right there. I'm just saying. And I just discovered this one. You got that glare in there, hey? And this is, I mean, it's not brand new, but it is new to me. And this is Kid Cudi. And just like the song Unfuckwittable, like the way that it is so positive, like the positive message that it conveys to society is just like unbelievable, you know. Indicud, Indicud. And I mean, by the end of the album, you got like Michael Bolton on there. Like, isn't that like like someone that like your mom or your parents would like, like a Michael Bolton, right? You got a Michael Bolton guest appearance on there, right? And it's just like, things are going to be serious when you get Michael Bolton on a track, right? And he didn't let me down. Like, I listened to that one song, Unfuckwittable, and then I'm like, you know what? That that album has got to be good. So I went out and I bought it, and I was not disappointed. And you will not be disappointed either. And of course, my boy. I mean, this isn't brand new, but it's pretty new, right? Tech Nine, right? Planet. He doesn't stop. Tech Nine doesn't stop. Just Planet. And then of course Habanero. I'm Habanero, which basically introduces Mackenzie Nicole, and why she didn't like certain ones. But then her first album, The Edge, right? The Edge, and like not one bad song in there, right? We're talking about strange music here, right? But then her second album came out, The Mystic, and it's just like, and then you look on YouTube or whatever, and she's like, I got a third one ready for y'all. I got a third one ready for y'all. You know, like it's a story though. Each album is a story now, right? Like if we're talking about mystics and stuff, like if you really look into that kind of stuff, like I do. Talking about physical releases here. Gag Order by Kesha. I mean, goddamn. There's not much you can say. Like, if you either like it or you don't like it. Like, the fact that she could do that. Her and Dr. Luke had some kind of misunderstanding or whatever. And then, like, this is like a whole new era for her. And it's just like, you know, if you need something to believe in, right? And then, of course, thinking about, like, I don't know, Marilyn Manson. This isn't his newest album, but it is, I would call this more notable than We Are Chaos, and that's called Heaven Upside Down. And for those people who know what I'm talking about, good. Those who don't, don't. Because I always like rock music. Where it all started was like with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? And you could have had their two new albums, but I chose The Getaway because for some reason, like The Getaway, it just like even if you take the cover art and like go like that, right? It's just like either way, like they got two new albums out there and everything, and it's The Getaway is just, like what is the second song? Dark Necessities. That's what really got me. Like, they have the title track as the first track, which is, but then Dark Necessities, the second track, and there's not one bad song in there. And the fact that it's produced by Danger Mouse, and anyone who knows that, like, he's basically a part of Gnarls Barkley, right? Him and CeeLo Green are Gnarls Barkley. Does that make me crazy? Right? Produced not the newest, but this Red Hot Chilies. That's a lot of stuff I'm talking about. Either way, and like I mean, talking about Nine Inch Nails and stuff. I was thinking, like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, they do a lot of things, the challengers and stuff, but the last, like, just tight, dope album by Nine Inch Nails was probably Hesitation Marks. And the fact that they made a second, like, bonus disc of it, too. Which, it didn't have any better tracks, but that's just the way it worked out. And you know what? Tovlo, she stopped making albums, like physical copies of albums. And you know why? Because the record company said you can't put that kind of cover art out in the stores. And she's like, basically, y'all, right? And then now she's just doing like things with everybody. Like any famous girl in the industry, Tovey Lowe is, they all respect her, right? And she's doing stuff like just a couple of days ago, BB Rexla, Kylie Minogue, like Nelly Furtado, whatever, CG Lewis. You can bet, like, if you put like all her new albums on one album, like that's coming out, like that doesn't have like something really obnoxious on the cover, then that's pretty much, good. But, I got some, like her first three albums, you know, as a woman artist and stuff, like Lana Del Rey and, you know, Lord and stuff. And, like, that's just, I guess I just realized now that's just a tip of the iceberg of, I'm just talking about, I guess, maybe it becomes more random than I would have liked it to be. But the thing that they all have in common is they're all music artists, and I don't know, I talked about a little bit. And maybe you liked a couple of the people I talked about or whatever. Like, the tags in this video are going to be sensational, like it's going to be like whatever. But those are basically the physical releases of albums that I've gotten this year. A lot of things now, they've all gone digital. Everything's gone digital now. So for those people who are still releasing things, like those artists that are still releasing physical copies, like actual CDs of things, thank y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. I'm sure there's more than just me in the whole world who appreciate stuff like that. So I don't know. I guess that became more random than, I'm not just talking about rap, girl artists, electronic, or whatever, like, and there's a lot of things that I probably didn't talk about simply for the fact that they didn't release it physically. But if they did release it physically, I probably would have went out and bought it, like the death of Slim Shady. All right. So until next time, this has been Lotus Wolf Pod. Hope you had a good time. At least I'm talking about music artists, right? Like, I'm not talking about all of them. I'm just talking about some of them. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Leave a thumbs up. Like, I haven't made a video in a long time, and I thought I'd come on and just talk about something that I knew about, like, music, you know. So talk to you later. Next video.